Oftentimes, we all believe that the telecom carrier ecosystem is complex in itself. But what if I told you that the role that carriers play has a profound influence on your outbound contact center strategy and your overall lead contact rates from your outbound business? Let's explore how in demystifying the carrier world for call centers. I'm Ashwin Venkatesh, Senior Product Manager for Telecommunications at Convoso. Oftentimes, when you're faced with a complex concept, such as the telecom carrier ecosystem, you tend to draw an analogy to something that you experience in your day-to-day life. And in this particular case, we could draw the analogy to a complex freeway system. If we really look at it, a freeway, the vehicles could constitute your digital channels, voice over IP, SMS, or other forms of data communication. The on-off ramps that are accepting traffic intake and offloading that traffic to another ramp could be the telecom service providers or the carriers that are intaking the digital traffic or offloading the digital traffic. And the freeway in itself is the network infrastructure that is used by the telecom service providers, TSPs, and the carriers for the traffic transfer. The technology infrastructure that powers this ecosystem, which is crucial to understand, is known as SIP. The advantage of SIP is that these are virtual internet lines that can automatically expand and accept voice, SMS, and other data communication while scaling between your cloud-based telephony software and carrier networks. And why do we use SIP nowadays between cloud and carriers? It's universal and low cost for digital communication. SIP trunks scale as new channels are added or with new traffic intake, and there's increased security and reliability in communication. When we say that SIP trunks auto-expand with call traffic, it also means that they're supporting millions of calls and text as part of the transmission from your contact center solution via the carriers over to your leads. And there's elasticity during peak hours of communication. What that means is when the traffic is high during your peak hours of services to your customers, SIP trunks have the ability to cater to that amount of traffic dynamically. And there's also the factor of improving agent productivity because agents are not left waiting for available phone lines to connect to the leads. The SIP trunks enable that dynamically by ensuring that there's faster speed to lead in the connection process and enabling lead contacts ultimately for your sales teams. Next, the notion of SIP trunks and how they manifest in the outbound call center operations. Leads typically that you purchase, which I'm assuming are high intent leads for the most part, are prioritized based on the high intent factor. And then your campaigns are set up to generate millions of calls to leads. And so the SIP trunks that we've been talking about channel these calls through the carrier networks, and the carriers could be selected by factors such as contact rate, the shortest route, and various other factors. And ultimately, the goal is that your sales teams and leads are connected so that your sales teams have an opportunity to drive conversions and improve revenue and ROI for their business. When the calls reach the carriers, there are one of several outcomes. The greens versus the reds, that's the way I'd like to visualize it. The greens tend to increase your contact rate, and the reds normally negatively impact your contact rate. And this is important to know because a lot of this happens behind the scenes, but they do influence or impact your contact rates. So the ideal situation when you place a call to a lead through your contact center solution is you get a successful response. The lead was contacted, a human spoke on the other line to an agent, or their voicemail was reached for follow-up. But that is not always the case. There are certain factors that carriers deeply care about, like not repeatedly calling disconnected numbers, not calling numbers that have revoked consent, not exceeding the capacity that carriers normally allocate for phone calls, or honoring the fact that users are declining calls because they've revoked consent. And there are various other factors that come into play from a compliance point of view. Before we actually dive into how we can convert more of the reds into the greens that you just saw, it's important to further deep dive into carrier roles because carriers play a variety of roles beyond just call origination and termination. We're looking at carriers playing the role of authenticating each and every call using industry standard STIR/SHAKEN, which is the ability to introduce a digital signature for a call to build trust and authenticity with the carriers. They play the role of constant fraud tracking, spam flagging, and call blocking. Capacity management and traffic prioritization by keeping an eye on is the vendor placing numerous short duration calls or long duration calls because carriers prefer long duration calls. Why? Because long duration calls are deemed more conversational and effective than a multitude of short duration calls which could be categorized as spam. You don't want that to happen. So all these factors come into play from a compliance enforcement point of view. And the compliance regulations that mandate these are TCPA regulations and ultimately the FCC. So we looked at how technology infrastructure is foundational to scale, security, and driving lead contacts. But is that alone sufficient? No. What is most important is your contact center solution agents ensuring compliant outreach to leads. And this is key to carriers and to your overall strategy. So let's look at some of the strategies to boost your outbound KPIs by ensuring compliant outreach. What KPIs matter the most to your outbound business? Let's start with the fact that you as business leaders would have procured contact center solutions with the goal of increasing those KPIs. So what are those KPIs? Do you care about lowering your cost per acquisition? Do you care about higher lead contact rates, higher lead conversion rates, and all of these and more? Wouldn't that be wonderful? So to boost your outbound KPIs, I'm going to leave you with some smart and compliant outreach strategies. Number 1, predictive dialing. Number 2, lead list management. Number 3, building caller ID trust and brand recognition. 4 is ensuring optimized dialing strategies. And number 5 is call analytics. Let's deep dive into each one of these to understand these better. With predictive dialing, your goal is to ensure faster speed to lead. Leave it up to the system to predict the next available agent for calls. You have a substantial number of calls, you have an equally substantial number of agents. Let the system do its trick in connecting the leads to the agents. How? By matching dialing speed with available agents, by using AI ML algorithms to identify when the next available agent can take a call. And ultimately, the benefit of this is it reduces admin overhead in managing call volumes. It also ensures that you can drive higher contact rates. Lead list management. You're able to prioritize your leads based on high intent for purchase on a day-to-day basis. What is most important to ensure on a regular basis is really removing disconnected phone numbers from list, removing DNC phone numbers from list, do not call numbers, or numbers where leads have revoked consent, and also doing lookups with reassigned number databases and ensuring that your list is refreshed on a constant basis because you want to improve the efficiency of your outbound dialing by ensuring that you hit the right leads, the active leads, and not utilize carrier network infrastructure and run into compliance issues by contacting leads that have disconnected us already. And ultimately, all this is geared towards your ability to ensure higher contact rates with active leads. The next is building caller ID trust and brand recognition. It's very important to rotate your DIDs frequently to avoid number overuse. Carriers tend to spam flag repeated calls from the same DIDs to the same leads. It's also relevant to consider factors such as showing your business name and logo in outbound calls and to drive trust and brand visibility with carriers and leads. All this is geared towards driving higher contact rates with compliance. And then optimizing dialing strategies by honoring time of day and number of dial attempts, because there are statewide regulations that differ state to state on what time of the day you can dial or how many number of dials you can do from your outbound dialing solution to your leads. And enabling your workflows to dial at irregular intervals is key to managing this strategy. And so what does this do at the end of the day? It helps you maintain compliant outreach by honoring state and TCPA guidelines. Last but not the least, call analytics. Leveraging real-time and historical call insights is so crucial because you want to constantly monitor agent productivity, lead list performance, your list conversion ability, management of your DIDs as well, and observe increase and drop in contact rates for necessary remediation or action. And this ultimately results in helping you increase your contact rates. Let's look at the Convoso difference. Convoso's mission is to help our customers increase contacts, drive more lead conversions, and generate more revenue and ROI for their business. So how do we do this? We have a scaling carrier ecosystem that can manage the vast amount of traffic that is being sent over from our contact center solution from customers over to the leads. The second is faster speed to lead by enabling variety of strategic algorithms for outbound dialing, like predictive dialing, for instance. Omni-channel workflow automation for lead lifecycle management. Imagine if you could enable omni-channel strategy for contacting your leads at different stages, such as the first point of contact being a voice call, an appointment using SMS, or an appointment reminder using SMS, and then a thank you email after the conversion cycle has completed. That's an efficient end-to-end orchestrated strategy that we enable for our customers. Next is Convoso Ignite, intelligent DID scoring using a variety of factors such as contact rate, lead segmentation, carrier behavior, and built-in compliance tools that can readily honor state and TCPA guidelines, help customers enable these guidelines and meet compliance. So a combination of all these factors is really helpful for our customers to make a difference using Convoso to drive more contacts, more conversions, and more revenue. In this session, we visualized the complex telecom world. We've connected the dots between SIP, call centers, and carriers. We've also double-clicked into carrier roles to explore the roles that they play beyond call origin and call termination. We explored the final piece of the puzzle, which is compliant outreach to really drive efficiency in your outbound strategy. And finally, we explored the top 5 strategies to boost your outbound KPIs. Thank you for attending and have a nice day.